So what I thought I would do is I'm just going to go down the list of Create Camp projects and give each group a chance to talk about what they did. And, you know, for a few minutes, I guess if we did about 5 minutes for each, that would take us through the hour. But if people want to talk for less than that, that's fine too. So, but we can go down. So I'm going to start with, is there anybody here from the Meza Create Camp project who would like to talk about what you all did?
Go for it, Greg.
Yeah, I'm here and I can talk about it. Real simply, we worked on upgrading Meza to version 134, which involved upgrading Elasticsearch and also involved several deprecations in extensions, because there's a lot of extensions included. But basically, we're able to do it and get a successful Meza deploy. So I'm going to be committing the code changes into a separate branch for 34x, and I'll push that up to at least my GitHub repository, and I'll try to get a pull request going with Darren. I'm sure he'll be able to at least create a branch for 34x in Meza, and yeah, we'll continue work on that. But I know one thing that remains to be done is that we didn't have time for yet, but will be, I'm sure it will be tackled, is upgrading the MariaDB database version. So all in all, I'd call it a success, and we've got a working example so far.
Awesome.
Fabulous. Anybody else want to comment on that or chime in? I know there was just some discussion in the last session about trying to get Lua into Meza as well, Scribunta, which would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know that that's related to Greg's Create Camp.
No, it's not. That's a separate thing. Just that it's Meza related. But no, it's not a goal of the Create Camp. But that's awesome. That's exciting that you've got it up to 1.34. Okay. So if there's nothing else about Meza, is there anybody here to talk about the Internet Port of Lies? Did anybody attend that session? I know there was somebody else in there with Mark and
yeah, I was in the session, true.
You were? Okay, cool. You want to talk about it?
Well, during the day, I missed his presentation on that, but he did so because I was working at the same time, so I couldn't watch them all. I did re-watch them as soon as you cut all the video and put them on the links. And he asked me, because it was the whole thing, what he did was really, really interesting. And it's kind of a mock-up, so he kind of asked if we could help him out building this. So I discussed that today at the office, and I think on Monday we'll have a call with him to see what we can do for him and actually build the whole project.
Very nice.
That would be awesome, yes.
Cool.
It's a really interesting project.
It is, it is.
So,
okay, that's wonderful. The next project was Maps. I know Jeroen de Daw led that. Was anybody here in that session wants to talk about what happened?
Well, I would be happy to, but I think since Jeroen is here, he can probably do a better job of it.
Yeah. Oh, let me start my video. Okay. Hello. I can't see myself. Maybe others can.
I can see it.
Okay, cool. That's weird. Yeah, so Jeroen, who maintains or develops the Maps extension, and I, who develop Page Forms extension and Cargo, which would also include this, decided. I mean, we agreed that we would both update our extensions to handle images as maps. Sure, images as maps. which again is something that was supported about 10 years ago, but then wasn't. So he actually added last night this capability into the Maps extension, but it doesn't fully work, as we discovered. It only works right now if the image is square, and actually you shouldn't use it yet. But I was inspired by his example, and if I can I share my desktop?
Yeah, sure.
How do I share screen? Okay. Okay. Oh, so annoying. I can't. The thing is preventing me from clicking on different tabs. How do I?
Yeah, sometimes you just have to move your browser window down so that it's not blocked by the
Okay, here we
toolbar.
Can you see that?
Yes.
I love it. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, this is an image I uploaded to the wiki. It's sort of hard coded right now in the code to use this image, so don't. Well, but it essentially, I mean, this is what it will look like. I just had it as part of this existing form city. So now, if I click on different points here, ooh, coordinates change. It's set to be from 0 to 100 in both axes.
Very nice.
Yes.
And then, I got to click on X here. So yeah, so then if I show changes, as you would expect, it'll show up there on the page. Yeah. And then,
Very good.
yeah, I think Jeroen's asleep already. He had I don't know. He was very tired last time I talked to him. But yeah, once he finishes adding it to maps, and then hopefully I'll add it into cargo also, then should be ready. Maybe even by next week.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great.
I just can't tell you how tickled I am. Thank you so much.
Sorry?
I'm extremely grateful for
All
your
right, cool.
immediate efforts, and very much looking forward to rolling this out
I'm looking forward to seeing it in use. I always thought this was a cool feature that just didn't get
the love.
the use. Yeah, it didn't get the attention. All right, excellent. All right.
Okay. So the next Create Camp was a tutorial by Megan on data normalization in cargo that we had a great discussion and ventured into other topics also, like the benefits or dangers of redirects and different ways of page naming. Megan, do you want to talk about that at all?
Hi, I was just AFK for like 10 minutes, so what?
Oh, we're going through all the different projects, so I'm talking about the data normalization in cargo that you did yesterday. Just giving each camp session a chance to report out.
Yeah, so I realized I had prepared way too much information for my actual presentation the day before. So I spent a lot of time talking about the theory on SQL that inspired some of the normalization things that I try to do, and why wikis necessarily require you to violate a lot of principles that are otherwise good, but in exchange other principles that don't exist elsewhere that you really should try to follow when you have relational data in your wiki.
And then towards the end, we sort of got into a little bit of a more wide-ranging discussion of things too.
I remember we talked about how redirects are the greatest things ever and every wiki should use tons of them.
No, I think we talked about how redirects are the most horrible thing in the world and we should avoid them at all costs.
No. I think the stress of running this meeting has gotten to you.
You think? At any rate, if anybody's more curious and wants to hear that conversation, the video of that's up already, so enjoy it. All right. So the next session was early this morning, my time, the Composer RFC. And I'm looking to see, I was in that meeting, but I was looking to see if there's anybody else in the room. Is there anybody else who was there who wants to talk about it? I guess I'll just, unless somebody else would like to. Okay. So basically, the summary of that is that there was many years ago a RFC for using Composer for managing extensions that was declined. And since then, in the absence of another easy way to install extensions, many extension owners have started to use that anyways against official advice. But the landscape has changed significantly since that RFC was there. First of all, at that point, many extensions were combining installation and enabling extensions, and they're really two completely separate things that should be treated separately. And so the more modern advice is if you want to use Composer to install an extension, that's what many third-party extensions are doing, but that you should still use the extension registration capability, WF load extension, to load them and have those as two separate things. And that's the more accepted practice these days. So at any rate, the output of this Create Camp, Robert Vogel and Mark Hirschberg are working together to try and create a new RFC that would codify current practice and make it clear what Composer is good for, what you should not use Composer for, and make it clear how to. And they had some suggestions for also code changes that would make this safer, better for all. So the hope is to submit this to TechCom as an RFC and be able to have accepted some best practices, which there is already a best practices page up there, but also get it so that when a discussion comes up about using Composer for an extension, that the reaction isn't immediately, oh, no, that was declined, we can't do that. Because there are very good reasons that you might want to use Composer, and some extension developers are using Composer very effectively for certain means, but it should also be clarified when to use it and when not to use. So that was pretty much the output of that session. And they're going to have another draft in about a week and then move forward to TechCom. Any questions about that? Okay. So next I'll go to Charlie. He presented a wonderful talk on WS Form.
Thanks. I showed a little bit about how to use uploading files and sending emails using WS Form. And I think the most interesting part was that you can actually upload files on several parts of the screen, so you can have more upload buttons if you'd like, and that you can have dynamic content inside the content of the file page, basically. And with emailing, the same thing, so that you can email a lot of people, sending out HTML files or, well, HTML emails that consist of a header, a footer, and a content that can be dynamic, so can have data out of the wiki when it's being sent. What else did I show? Oh, we came up with, I think it was Bernhard, or I don't know, but you can also use, when there's a red link, so if there's a file that doesn't exist, you click on it, you actually jump to a WS Form upload page, basically, where in the URL the missing link is, so you can actually then upload a file and then have the correct name or do something else with it. So we went through those kind of things. It was it was pretty interesting. At least I got some really nice feedback. So
It was great. And if I'm not mistaken, you also promised that you were going to get the extension ready to release so that anybody could use it, right?
Uh,
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I'm going to do my hardest on my hardest best on that to get that done. Yes.
Thank you. Awesome. And that session was recorded later on tonight. It should be up on YouTube. So then I know Wolfgang and Bernhard were going to trying to find time to talk about Semantic Media Wiki with non-standard backend, but I'm not clear that they ever did, and I don't see either of them online. So I'm not sure whether anything came out of that. And then Jeroen de Dot had a session on a Enterprise Media Wiki user survey. I think, Brian, you were in that one, right?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, you weren't? Oh, okay.
I was there.
Anybody in that?
Sorry.
Oh, you were on. Okay, good.
I was there,
Thank you.
yeah. Where's Mark, by the way?
No idea.
Okay. Oh, actually, Mark wasn't even there. No, it was based on a survey that Mark had done, or maybe he was there for part of it. It was based on a survey that Mark had first created. It had created in 2015, I think, and Darren was there too. But yeah, they're putting together. I don't know what the official organization behind it, if any, is, or maybe it's just Jeroen doing it. But put together a survey with questions, maybe 25 questions all in all. That this one is for people who use MediaWiki. They also want to do another survey of people who don't use MediaWiki, which is, I guess, both easier and harder to find people to fill out. But that one's not created yet. But this one is created, and there's a link to it somewhere. It's I think even on the Riot channel, and people can already fill it out if they want to. Although it's not intended for developers. There's a list of groups at the beginning that it's not intended for. Basically, it's for people who just use MediaWiki at their work and, you know, wanting to see what's good about it, what could be better, that kind of thing.
Does it make sense to put a link to it up on the conference page?
Yeah, I don't know where, but yeah, somewhere, sure.
Yeah, if you could do that, that would be awesome.
Actually, I'm not 100% sure that it's official yet. That's officially
Okay.
released. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
We talked about making some, or I suggested some people suggested different changes. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess hold off on that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know where the link is anyway, so. Cool. All right. Yes, I did a session on Git and MediaWiki, I believe. I don't think he's on though. Charlie, did you want to talk about that?
I'm sure. Yeah. There was some interest there, and he kind of went on with what he did with his presentation, but he gave some more practical examples on how to apply that, and showed some Docker containers that he booted up, and showed like a local wiki where he can work in. He showed the extension WS PageSync that we use for where you can just simply click on a button if you have a template or a page you find interesting, or you want to have it deployed somewhere else, and then it'll be synced up. So basically the extension makes a file on the server for that, so that it can be put into GitHub or into Git. So you can simply deploy it somewhere else, and all the pages will be installed right there when you have it deployed somewhere else. So basically you get like a base set of templates and widgets and what all the things you need to get a wiki running in the way we wanted to. So he showed that out as well, and way much other stuff. He talked about Amazon and deploying to the cloud and how to do that, and there were specific questions there he could answer. So yeah, I was again impressed with the knowledge he has. It was good to watch.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Unfortunately, there was a MediaWiki stakeholders group board meeting at the same time, so I missed it, but I'm very excited that I left the video going during it, so I'm looking forward to watching it later tonight. And it will get uploaded as well.
Super.
Awesome. Okay. Then the next item was just that we had a MediaWiki stakeholders group meeting, which is our regular monthly meeting. And that was great. Anybody have any comments, want to say anything about what happened? Or
That's what, well, I was there as well for a short while, wasn't I?
I think so.
Yeah, when you talked about the blog and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know my remark.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, so I'm not going to mention that again.
Yeah, cool. Okay. And then the last regularly scheduled session, just hot off the presses, ended 25 minutes ago, was Megan talking about Lua. Megan, you want to say anything about it?
Yeah, so it turns out that the example that I thought I was giving of something that isn't possible in MediaWiki natively, Brian pointed out to me totally is possible natively in MediaWiki, and Cargo supports it, and I had no idea. So that was fun. But I did end up pretending that you couldn't do it natively, and then we changed the example of it so that it was actually something you couldn't do natively. But I tried to pick a very small but realistic example of a time when you have somewhat complex data as your input, in this case a one-to-many relation that you queried from Cargo, but it could be just arguments that you got from the user or whatever, or something that you're constructing. It doesn't have to be from Cargo. And MediaWiki has a really hard time with getting aggregate data from something that you also have to process one at a time, because variables are awkward and arrays are awkward and stuff. And in Lua, it's pretty easy to do, and you end up with a very flexible outline that you can change at will without, so you can change the output at will without having to change the logic of data processing. So we adopted a bunch of cats from an animal shelter.
Yes, it was a great example, and it's wonderful. And that was also videoed and will be uploaded later. If anybody wanted to know all of the details of how one designs a good Lua application within a wiki, and there were a lot of neat tips and tricks that Megan showed that I'm going to start adopting as well. Not the least of which is
yeah, that
yes, that, using MediaWiki. Yes, absolutely, it was awesome. So cool, can't wait to do that. Looking forward to it. All right, so that's all of the scheduled Create Camp sessions. I'll just say that in the EMWCon Riot chat, Darren Welsh added, I'm not going to connect to Zoom, but thank you to all the participants. I think this was a big success. Also, I did my own Create Camp, like a real social distancer. I figured out how to use our firewalled GitLab CI to sync wiki pages across multiple wikis in a farm. In one repo, I made a script to sync content, and in a second repo is the config and the common content. Woo. So, yay. Good job, Darren. So, so that's the summary of what everybody did in the Create Camp. So I'll just open it up to if anybody has any other things that they want to comment on, anything else that they want to say to bring the conference to a close.
You did amazing, Cindy.
Aw, Megan, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to go sit in a dark corner now for a while and just close my eyes.
Cindy, can I make a quick comment?
You absolutely may.
Thank you. So I noticed that I missed the group Zoom meeting photo, and I was really sad that I missed it. But I did a little photoshopping on the one that you uploaded to MediaWiki.org, and I put myself in. So I thought maybe I would let other people know that if they missed that photo, that screenshot of the group, it's not too late to get yourself added in.
Excellent. Did you take upload your photoshopped version to Commons?
I did. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
cool.
I went to your version and I updated the version that you uploaded.
Okay, cool. And for those who haven't seen yet, I have it on the oh, and I just look at that. Very nice. Yes, I just refreshed. So the conference page, I put the group photo up at the top. And I see that Rich is now there with the rest of us, which is fabulous. So there's room for at least one or two more on the same row, depending on what your Photoshop, or I used GIMP, what your skills are.
Yeah, I'm a GIMP user also.
Yeah, exactly.
I could choose
I'm
the
sure
picture I have.
you can what?
I could use the picture I have here on Zoom if you want.
Yeah, absolutely, if you want.
But it's not me though. No, I'll find a picture somewhere. I just don't have a camera, so I'll have a look.
That's fine. And then, if anybody wants to add another row, just, make it longer. So feel free, anybody who's here, feel free to add yourself. That would be great, so that we have a memory of what, of us all being together. Cool, great idea, Rich.
I want to mention if we talked about Create Camp projects, but there's at least one hackathon project that I think is worth mentioning.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The Megan and I did. Megan, do you want to show it?
Oh yeah, I can screen share again. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so screen share. Okay, I'm learning. This took like half as long as it did before. So this is what cargo tables looks like right now. This is live on my wiki. I have a lot of tables. And one thing that I've wanted for a really long time is that it's pretty hard to like at a glance get information from this. Like if I want to see how many rows are in a table or something, this can get pretty hard to read for a lot of tables. So this week I made a wiki table interface for special cargo tables instead. And there's a preference now where any table with a replacement, you can make it so that it breaks alphabetical order. And you can, if you don't like this, you can turn it off, but by default, it will put any lines with replacement tables first so that you can see those at a glance easily. And then there's all of these icons so it doesn't take up too much horizontal space. And you have the declaring template in bold here and attaching templates not in bold. And then if you're logged out, hopefully it works. Yeah, okay. I broke it, but then I fixed it today. So here you just have the link to special drill down. And then here you have recreate and delete. And then when there's a replacement table, switch it in and cancel a replacement. Have different icons so that you can not think that you're deleting something scary.
That's awesome. That's so much more readable, right?
Yeah, I love it. I think it came out like 10 times better than I was hoping.
So now you've questioned, what's a replacement table?
Oh, okay. So when you have a table, so like say I have this table, there's a bunch of data in it. It has 26,000 rows. So if I want to change one of the columns, I can't just like add a column. You have to like recreate the table if you want to add a column. So if I wanted to say like, I don't know, if there's suddenly 6 players on a team and I need team 1 rule 6 or whatever, I can't just add that to the table. I have to delete the table and then add the column and rebuild it. But it can take like an hour or 3 hours, depending how big your table is, to recreate it. And in this time, your entire wiki would be dead. So instead, the process looks like you click recreate data, and then you have the option of putting into replacement.
Feel free to, okay, it's fine. I made her an admin.
Nice.
Yeah. So then you have, when you look back at special cargo tables, this one has a replacement now too. And it'll slowly be repopulating. So you create the new table prior to deleting the old one. So so right now it has this still being built. Well, I'll switch in employees because that's one that's already done. So when you switch it in, so this will delete the old version and then rename the new version to the old.
Oh no!
Oops.
Okay.
That's not my fault. I wasn't editing.
That's not her. That's me. I had a slight sense of dread as you were pressing that something bad would happen.
Yeah. So I didn't break this.
Okay.
And if you did it on a live wiki, I guess you would hopefully not get an internal error and it would actually work. But is special cargo tables now like broken?
I hope not. I doubt it.
Yeah, it still works.
Nice.
So in theory, I guess, can I cancel a replacement? Okay, that works. Yeah, so you can delete a replacement and it no longer has a replacement. So yeah.
That's so cool. I guess that's new functionality since the last time I used cargo. That's awesome.
It came in about 2 years ago. I guess
It's been a while.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very cool.
this came out great. And it's not yet in cargo, but hopefully will be in by early next week, if not today.
And I'll share one last bit of information. All of the templates and forms and properties and all the pages necessary to make the file folder and file attachment tools work have been made available to the general public on my EMW Meza site. And so if you go to the YouTube video that corresponds with my talk, I posted a link there in the comments.
Oh, awesome.
I'll be eager for feedback. And if anybody wants to improve them, just contact me and I'll get you set up with them. But the site is world readable, but create new accounts is disabled. So if you'd like to be able to edit them on my hosting site, just let me know. I'll set you up with an account.
Very, very cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was thinking it would be good to have it linked somewhere from MediaWiki.org. I don't know what the best way to do that is. There isn't really any protocol right now for describing packages or groups of forms and templates that can be used right now. Yeah. All right. I don't know. I will have to think about that.
Well, how about this? I will update the EMWCon 2020 page, and so where it lists my talk as having taken place on Wednesday, I'll include a hyperlink to where the tool is.
Right. There. Maybe on the page forms documentation too, it could make sense to have a list, to have links to, reusable something, reusable.
I like that, reusable. Yeah.
Data structures or something. Yeah.
Data structures. Right.
Great. Awesome. And I've been making some updates to the conference page, sort of we're putting up the links and sort of closing things out. I guess it'll have to get changed to past tense at some point, but we can still use that as a record of what we did together here. And there were a number of ideas, how-to requests under the Create Camp ideas, and we didn't get a chance to do all of them. In fact, I don't think we got to do most of them. So those would all be great candidates for talks at either next year at the next conference, or if there's an SMWCon in the fall, or maybe we'll just all get together for a hackathon at some point. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
That's
so I
it.
have to ask a question.
Sure.
Since this goes down as the spring 2020 EMWCon, is there any interest in a fall EMWCon?
Well, there's never been a fall EMWCon, but
I mean, is there something that sort of takes? Is it SMWCon that takes the fall slot?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Well then, hope to see you at SMWCon.
I'm not sure. Of course, it all depends upon the world situation then, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's hope everyone will be out of their burrows by then.
Yeah.
For a brief moment, I forgot about the calamities of the world.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you.
That's actually good.
Thank you for bringing me back to reality. Sorry.
It's nice to have a periodic escape from the real world though. So. Okay. Well, I think if there's nothing else, I think maybe we can say farewell. Thank you all for coming.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yes,
Bye. Thank you.
Hey, we did it. We did it. Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.